$1 million. Free to play. You just need to survive. It's the Fanatics NFL Survivor Pool. Pick one team to win each week. Get it right, move on. Get it wrong, you're out. The last fan standing take home a guaranteed $1 million cash prize. And for every player who joins, we add $1 to the pot, up to $10 million. The Fanatics NFL Survivor Pool. Play free on the Fanatics app. App access open to all. Must be 21 plus and joined by 9/8 to play. No purchase necessary. U.S. only. Void where prohibited. Subject to complete terms. See fanatics.com/game rules.
Breathe deep. Imagine your legs more limber in Duluth Trading Double Flex Denim. Envision euphorically squatting for that can of suds, bending for your toolbox in a state of bliss, plunging for your laser level on a whole new level. Relax and allow the flex to fill you with ability. Find your inner flex in Double Flex Denim only at Duluth Trading.
1, 2, 3, 4. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
This is 70,000 Tons of Metal, the original, the world's biggest heavy metal cruise. 60 bands, 4 days, 1 cruise ship, only 3,000 tickets. It's like having an all-access backstage pass. January 29th to February 2nd, 2026. From Miami, Florida to Nassau, the Bahamas, and back. 70,000 tons of metal. What are you doing next winter?
All right. So there's my partner, Justine. She's going to be joining us today.
Hi, Justine. How are you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
You know, fantastic. Doing great. Life is good. I'm going to grab a light, though, so that you guys can see me a little bit more, and hopefully this works out. And I didn't get your name, sir. The one I was talking to you. Bruce.
Sorry, Bruce. Yeah.
Bruce, nice to meet you, Bruce. Whoa,
nice to meet you as well. Let me get myself together here. Give me 1 second. Justine, you want to take the lead on this one?
Sure,
While I'm pulling up my notes.
Okay, I was doing some research and seeing that you guys were formed in Salt Lake City.
Yes. Yep.
Which I had a very specific question, but because all of you guys are from different places, with a group made up of members coming from different backgrounds, how do you think that influences the music?
You know what, we get that a lot, actually, especially because I don't know, the world we live in, you know, like I remember being acoustic. I used to start off playing acoustic, and I'd show up and people go, "Oh, so you play reggae?" And I'm like, "What?" You know, exactly. And I feel like, I don't think they were trying to mean anything by it, but it's like sometimes people make assumptions. They see the color of our skin and think, "Oh, you must play this, you must fit into this mold, or you must fit into that." And then I'm like, "Oh man, I was raised on rock, metal, pop." Like my older sister introduced me to Mariah Carey and then Shania Twain. And then my dad was really into like Kenny Loggins and Creedence Clearwater. But then my older brothers introduced me to Metallica, you know, and that was like the first time that I was like, oh, you could do that with a guitar.
Right. Then life changed. Right.
Life changed. And then I discovered Linkin Park on my own. And it just was like, yeah, that was my first concert that I ever went to, was Linkin Park. Yeah, I was.
What Metallica record was the first one?
Metallica record was actually the Black Album.
That's
a
great entry too. Yeah, beautiful.
And they put on Master of Puppets, and I was just like, "Who is this band?" You know. And then my older brothers took me to a Linkin Park concert for my 14th, 15th birthday, 14th, I think, and it was Story of the Year, Hoobastank, POD, Linkin Park. And
I remember Hoobastank. Wow.
Yeah, you should. They're amazing. But the crazy thing was, I thought all concerts were like that. Like, oh, okay, so it's nonstop energy. It's amazing. Everybody. I didn't realize how spoiled I was. So to answer your question, it's more of a cultural thing. You know, we've got two dudes from Boston, the brothers. They grew up with a lot of R&B and hip hop and soul, and they introduced that kind of aspect to the band. And then my drummer, he loves rock, like underground rock, but he also loves show tunes, like loves Wicked, and so we have a little bit of that. And then our producer is like this connoisseur of all, like he knows the deep cuts of every single like band album. Like I'll try to throw him off. Like, have you ever heard of this band? He goes, oh yeah, which album? Blah 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 blah. You know. So for us, to answer your question, it's just a cool melting pot. It's almost like we're making this smoothie, and you know, like if you're making a chocolate banana peanut butter smoothie, somebody that brings lime, it's like, I'm not making that kind of smoothie. And so
Yeah.
Allbrook Station, it just happened to be the best flavors that came together. And me as the front man and kind of the I don't know, the leader of the group of whatnot, like this was just the best version of the vision that I thought we could go, and they just made it perfect.
So if yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, this is so amazing. But my next question was, what do you want people to feel when listening to your music? What kind of influence do you want to play in like your fans or people's lives more so? Because as listening to it, I was just like, this is very like emotional, very like deep from the soul and the heart. Like, what do you want to evoke in people with your music?
Great question. So you're saying you're a fan?
You might be sitting in the crowds.
Okay, good, good. Um, like when we first started Allbrook Station, or I started off as a solo singer songwriter, like I said, and then over time I just got lonely. I was like, I want a band. I like my buddies with me. Found the best guys that I could, and it was like the last 2 years of creating Allbrook Station because it was a journey. It was leaving what I originally intended, like an acoustic singer songwriter, to create something bigger. And over those 2 years, man, we just went through the craziest times. I'm talking miscarriages, divorce, a death of a father of the band, death of a brother. We had some big opportunities come and fall right through. Like, hey, you guys are going to do this. We're going to give you this. And it just, it didn't happen. And it just kind of felt like 2 years of like letdowns and the hardest times of our lives. And really, the one thing that kept us going was just writing. Jesse is the bass player. Him and I write all the songs. And it was just such a cool way to write about real things that people experience death, people experience heartbreak and sickness. And we have one song. It's probably the most intense song on the album, but it's called "Drowning in the Dark." And most songs like take you on a journey, and then there's like a resolution. There's like a happy, like you figured it out. And most of our songs are that way. They're hopeful, but "Drowning in the Dark" was the only one that I specifically wanted it to stay in the suck. I didn't want a hopeful ending because sometimes there's just not. Sometimes you're just having a really bad day and hearing, hey, it's going to get better doesn't help. You're just like, no, it just sucks right now. And just let this suck, And, so to answer your question, I want fans to be able to feel that the story's not over. Like it's like if you watch, I don't know, if you watch like Spider-Man and Uncle Ben dies. If the movie ended then, it's like, this is a depressing movie and story. I hated it. But then you see the rise to one of the coolest, greatest superheroes that goes on to help other people. And so I think our message to our fans is keep watching, keep listening, and keep writing because your story's not over yet. The things that are happening to you doesn't have to be pain doesn't have to be a bad thing. It really doesn't. Pain can be a great motivator, a great inspiration, a great teacher. So again, our message to our fans is just keep going. Like it does get better. And now I feel like I would go through everything I went through last 2 years. I'd do that 1,000 times if it meant being where I am today and being who I am, well, hopefully
So
it's what,
piggybacking off of Justine, then your songs are so emotional. Do you ever feel like you've put too much of yourself into it? You're too vulnerable?
that's a great question. I can honestly say that's the first time anybody has ever asked me a question like that. Like, have we gone too far? I don't know. I think that's a personal choice depending on the artist. I don't think I do. I'm naturally very, as you can tell, I won't shut up. Like I love talking, I love connecting with people. And so for me, I don't mind sharing things because I think since the beginning of time we've been storytellers. And I think I've grown up so much that I just don't judge people. I don't once you get to know somebody, it's like, how can you judge them? You just learn to love them and their background and their stories. And so I think if we could do that more often and be more vulnerable, more open, so many wars would end, so many fights would end, so much forgiveness would be there if you just understood on both sides where the other people were
Sure.
coming.
Mhm.
On on a less grand scale, though, even music, I think it makes it more organic and more real and definitely more relatable, right? When it's from the gut, it's from, what you're feeling.
Yeah. And I'd say something that's hard as a songwriter is because there's two types of songs in my mind when I'm writing a song. There's this is a crazy situation that's so unrelatable because it's got specific names. A singer is talking about, a time that they went to a bar and this person said this, and then they got into this car and then they went to this. And it's so like, oh, that is a unique experience versus the songs that are like heartbreak or death, Then I think as a good songwriter, you kind of dip back and forth between the two where it's like, it's unique enough that somebody's like, I'm interested in your story, but then it's relatable. Because I think with the human condition, we all want to know that we belong somewhere, that it's not just such a unique, crazy, I'm the only one going through this, but it's like when you see other people with the same jersey on, you're like, oh, I'm safe here. I can talk to you guys. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
What's been the response to the single, The Crown, so far? Or Crown?
The Crown's been crazy, man. That's been popping off. Like, we hit 10,000 streams in just a few days on Spotify, where I remember when Chimerical was our first song ever. We've only been a band out in public since May 2nd. So it's been, what, four months today?
Oh, wow.
And so Chimerical, like, it was like, we hit 100 streams, it's like amazing. Then when we hit 1,000, it was like, let's have a party, and it took like, I think a week to get to 1,000 streams with Chimerical, whereas with Crown, it was 10,000 in just a few days. And we've had a lot of support, which has been really, really cool. And I've said this in other interviews. The one that shocked me the most was Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter has just taken off on like YouTube Music. It's at 300,000 streams, and that song in less than a month for a brand new band. But that's also the only song that I've had people come out publicly and vocally on the internet be like, I hate this. I hate you guys. I hate this music. It sucks.
How much headspace do you give to those people? You don't give a shit, do you?
What were you saying, Justine?
The minute you start having haters, that's how you know.
Right?
Shit.
You know what I look at it as? I look at it as if I go up to somebody, I go, dude, I love sushi. And they go, oh, I don't like sushi. That does not affect my taste. I'm not going to go, oh, you're right.
And now I don't either.
Yeah, now I hate it too. Just go like, oh, thank God we have different opinions, because some people tell me Linkin Park's the worst band in the world, or Metallica, they hate Metallica. And I'm just like, oh, well, I don't. It doesn't affect. And again, we're all human. No one likes to read mean things about you, but I don't give any stock unless I know the person and they know me. Then I'm like, man, that kind of, luckily that has not happened, knock on wood. Watch me get
and if they're talking about you, I mean, it's still press, right? You're still being recirculated online, and people are going, well, let me go look at these guys that everybody's hating on, or whatever. It doesn't matter.
And, some people are like, I am confrontational when I need to be, if that makes sense. So let me say it in a nice way. If I'm standing on principle or standing on business or something like defending my family or something I truly believe in, I have no problem opening up and sharing it. But for example, I think if you can, again, connect with the people. So I had this one guy, Sharpshooter, been out for like 3 days, and he's like, I absolutely hate this. This is garbage. And I wrote back, because at first I wanted to be like, well, why? Talk to me. And then I just said, no, you like it. That's all I put. And then he wrote back, no, I absolutely do not. And then I wrote back, bro, the algorithm doesn't lie. You're listening to it for a reason. Come on, you like it.
Right.
He stayed true. He did not like it, but I had other people jump in and think, what an awesome response. Because I'm like, if I can laugh and feel good about it, listen, I think another thing that makes a good singer-songwriter is I don't think the music that I'm writing is meant to be for everybody. There's 8 billion people. That's impossible. It's not going to be for everybody, but it's going to be for the right people. And That's what I'm writing for. I'm writing for people that connect with me and see it, because I'd rather have that. I'd rather have people that are singing the lyrics and love it. Some people don't like football or sports and basketball, and it's like, oh, then it's not for you. But the NBA and NFL go on strong.
Right. They're not stopping because you don't like it.
Exactly.
Justine?
No, I completely understand. Oh my gosh. They're just like, but that probably seems so high and true to, like, everyone has a space. Don't think a certain space is going to be like, oh, there's too much of this. Like, I remember like last semester, I heard people just like, oh, when you're in computer science, there's too many people. It's like there's not too many people. Like there's going to be a market for someone. There's going to be someone waiting to listen to someone to your music.
100%.
Like,
And again, like how hard that would be to try to please 8 billion people.
Yeah.
But
But then you're not even being true to yourself either, though, right? Because then you're not writing for Allbrook Station or for Burke. You're writing, if you start writing for 8 billion people, then it's watered down and bullshit, I think.
And everybody is projecting always of their background, their prejudice, their history. I mean, we played our very, very first concert ever last Tuesday, and it was a smash. It was amazing. Utah showed up, and I'm like, oh, if we can get 50 people, we had 300, people buying tickets for a brand new band. And it was just us on the bill. That's it. Our DJ, our in-band DJ, Frank Zoo, opened the show. Then we went on. And the cool thing was 2 good buddies of mine at the end. One guy was like, oh, because I did a part where I stripped it down and just went acoustic and kind of got intimate with the crowd. Because that same night, Goo Goo Dolls was playing here in Utah. And a lot of our fans love Goo Goo Dolls, but they're like, we could see them later. We want to come see you. And so I Goo Goo Dolls. So I played Iris, and sang with the crowd, and just as a kind of a thank you, because I would have understood if they were like, bro,
you didn't have to be there.
Huge. You didn't have to, but I had one buddy that was like, man, I loved when you talked to the crowd, but I wanted to yell, shut up and play the song, Schneebly, because he wanted just music. Then I had another buddy, same show, that was like, man, I wish you would have taken another 20 minutes and just talked to the crowd because I love this story. Right? You can't please everybody, so I shot for the middle. I shot for what was authentic to me. And overall, the show was amazing. They loved it. But again, it was just a small, another example of everybody's going to have an opinion. And I just listen. Sometimes opinions make me change my behavior because they have a point. And sometimes it makes me dig my heels in deeper and be like, no, I know I'm right.
Right. Absolutely. Hey, so tagging off of what Justine said earlier, I think she opened it up with the varied influences you guys have. Is there something that when you're writing, do you have like I don't want to add country to this, or does that make sense? Is there like a sort of genre that you're not going to welcome into it, or is the writing session open to everything and see what works?
So
that makes sense.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, great. I love this podcast, by the way. You guys
Thank you.
Being heard, and that it's a great conversation. And I just want to say that, I've been doing it quite a bit of these as we're trying to get our name out there. And I've had some great ones. Like, really, I've had some great ones. And this one just is amazing. So thank you guys for taking the time and just being like a cool group to talk to. So
I'm glad you got it, because I build this thing as just that. We used to call it a casual conversation, was the subtitle, whatever you call it, because yes, we're going to talk about the record or the song, but I really want to talk about whatever else it goes. We all have questions prepped, but I like to just go. And so wherever this goes, it goes.
As an artist, I love the questions that get to my mind and my heart. Where it's like, well, let's know what you actually think and feel. That's cool. I don't mind, because I'm pretty sure for the next year or two, we're going to get, where'd you get the band name? We're going to get those questions. And it's okay. Like, I don't get sick of it, because I'm like, hey, somebody wants to know about something I've created.
But you can find that on 400 other websites.
Yeah, exactly. You could. But I don't mind. So again, thank you guys for the thoughtfulness behind these questions, and already a huge fan of you both. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So Jesse, my songwriter, that guy, I love Jesse. His brain, I actually tried to get him onto this today, but he just had twins. Him and his wife birthed twins, and so all of us are girl dads in our band. So I have a brand new daughter. She's 21 months old, and we all have daughters. And so I love that, because I'm like, these guys are in the band are the type of guys that I would want my daughter to marry someday. These are great. Right. And I hope you see it in the music. Okay, so to answer your question, Jesse was like, because I was like, man, what's the sound and like the DNA? And I've learned, like, if you hear Post Malone is going to drop a new song, you know what to expect, because he's cultured that sound. And it's like, okay, I know what to Metallica, same thing. I know what to expect, and you can trust it.
Time out. Sure. I don't know if you know what to expect with Metallica after the Black Album, though. Sorry, there's my 2 cents. Go back to what you were doing.
That's funny. I was like, we're not supposed to talk about Post Malone. No, but I know James Hetfield, his voice, I know Lars and the drums, and I know kind of what ballpark to expect,
Right.
And I think that that's amazing. I think that when bands are organic and you can trust and you know what their identity and their brand is, you buy into
Right.
it, right? So for a new artist, I think that was the first why we took so long to write these songs, because I'm like, what's our DNA? And so Jesse just very intelligently said, Burke, if somebody was trying to copy us, if somebody else besides me and you was trying to write an Allbrook Station song, what would it be? And so we started putting into words what that DNA is. And so Frank Zoo, our DJ, also is a rapper and he raps. And our drummer screams, I scream. And there was a conversation of like, hey, should we do a rap scream? And it was just one of those things where I'm like, guys, if we go too pop and get rid of the guitars and do more bigger layer vocals and bigger drums, we're Imagine Dragons. If we do the rap scream, especially with my addiction to Linkin Park, we're going to be them. And we already
Right.
have Mad Dragons. We already have a Linkin Park. We already have a Bad Omens and Bring Me the Horizon. But I'm like, but what does an Allbrook Station sound like? What is it? What is that? And so, yes, there is a very hard line. I mean, dude, I play guitar and I love riffs, man. Again, Metallica. And so some of our songs, I come to the studio and I'm like, bro, check this riff out. And we'll play it, we'll record it. And I'm like, dude, it's not Allbrook Station. It's not.
Right.
Tell I'm trying to be Bad Omens, or you could tell I'm trying to be, like,
Right.
and I'm just like, all right, just strip away anything that's not authentically us. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. And that's been a hard challenge, but I think what makes us stand out is that, I mean, we even have a 30-piece orchestra that we recorded down in East West in LA. They're on this debut album. And that's insane. And that's a whole nother podcast story there. But we have like legit, most of these people are in the LA Philharmonic or the New York Philharmonic. And so, and I dreamt of that, but that was something that was authentic to me. I want to hear what my music sounds like with big strings and a big orchestra and a brass section, because I know we could just do it electronically, but I'm like, yeah, but I could have done this whole album in my basement if I was trying to go that route. This is my first statement. I want it to be loud. So yes, there is a fine line that we toe, and it's kind of a checks and balances even in writing. Jesse and I I'll bring a song to him and I'll be like, what do you think? And he goes, yeah, it's trash. I hate this. And I'm just like,
Where do those riffs go, though? Are you recycling them somewhere else, or is it another project, or is it just kind of?
sometimes they become live. In the live show, we will add stuff there so that people, because I'm big on theatrics and on our live show. Like, I want it to be something where people go, yeah, you can't hear that on the album. You have to watch them live because they just, it's like boundaryless and limitless on the live show. So a lot of those riffs will go into an interlude or go into some, like, we have an outlet for it. Now we're working on, just jam sessions live, because I think what's cool is I start off the show and I don't have a guitar, and so I connect with the crowd. But then you see me pick up a guitar halfway through the set, and people are like, "Can he actually play?" And then when you shred and riff, people are like, "This is amazing!" It's again,
Right.
so it is very, like, we're very careful to be, if it's not us, we don't do it. And the other thing that I think what I love about this band is there's no ego. There's been times that I've either screamed or wanted to do something, and they're just like, might be too much, and I know that they're not saying, Burke, you're too much. It's like,
Right. Just that Metallica or Slayer riff is too much.
exactly.
All right. I'm going to let Justine grab one more, and then I've got two to close it out.
Sounds good.
I just love how you're talking about the theatrics with the live band, live strings. Are you a Beyonce fan?
Yeah, of course.
I knew it.
I
I knew it. Because when you said about like only keeping things for the live show, I was just like, that seems like something she would do, which is amazing. Because then you have like a whole plethora of people creating like the live album essentially when your artist doesn't put it out. But
and artists, not sorry, not to interrupt, but some artists, I'm like, I could just listen to you on Spotify or Apple. Like, what's telling me to go watch you live? And I think about that too. I'm like, my friends and families and fans that showed up, I'm like, I got to make sure there's an exchange. These people paid. I mean, we had VIP at $70 and people paid to come see that. And so I'm like, we got to make sure we don't rob these people. Like, they paid for an experience. Let's give them an experience. So,
Yeah.
I love that sentiment because I've been to like, that was probably like my last concert. And the only closest person that probably touched her presence was Doja Cat.
oh, yeah.
And that was it. But like, if you had unlimited budget, unlimited power, how do you think an Allbrook Station concert would actually look? Say if you were, I'm trying to think of a big stage concert. Just think of the biggest thing.
My Chemical
Madison
Romance.
Square Garden.
Yeah.
Allbrook Station headlining Madison Square Garden. I put it out there for you, by the way.
And that's going to happen. So will Rock in Rio, Rock am Ring, those big ones. Like one thing that the band knows that I always say is I go, guys, we're not going to fail because I refuse to fail. And the only way you can ever fail is if you give up. And so I'm like,
if it does happen, you got to give us a shout out because we kind of put it out in the universe here. Justine put it out first, like the lucky rabbit's foot.
Yes, it will happen. Should be there. Where are you guys based out of?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia. Oops, sorry. Keep talking over each other, but I'm in Richmond, Virginia.
And just
I'm in New York right now.
Okay, so all right. So Madison Square Garden wouldn't be impossible. You know, you guys would theatrics and unlimited budget. So I did not grow up with show tunes at all. Like I didn't grow up with Wicked and all that stuff, but I started going to some of these for the production for that, where I'm like, wow, that is way cool. You know, I love when bands take the time to tell you a story. I think My Chemical Romance with the Black Parade, it was like one of the highlights. They did it, you know, and I love, like I said, costume changes. I love, that's one thing I love about Taylor Swift's and the Era Tour, or even Sabrina Carpenter and who else performed at the Grammys? We got an invite to go, and that was my second time, and it was amazing because it's all theatrics. It's all, you know, you're watching these people. Even Benson Boone had like a really, really cool, like he sat down and they ripped off the clothes and he was in his blue leotard, you know, and I love that part of it because I feel like it's probably budget why most bands don't do it. Time, resources, you got to get, you know, choreography and all that stuff. But it would be a 2-hour journey event where people are like, this should be a residency in Las Vegas. Like, that's what I would love. I would love for people to just see the full experience and have a story, because everybody has a story to tell. And I think the best, most popular artists know how to tell the story. And that's what you buy into. You buy into what.
Oh, you froze out.
You know, like that's the dream. Is we have like 3 backing vocalists. We have at least a 10 section orchestra, and then we have dancers, and then we have like fire, and we have I would love that. So not saying I don't love the attention on me. I love it, but like, oh, don't worry, I'll still be loud enough that everybody will still look at me. But to be able to look back and be like, wow, look at everything that's going on, that would be a dream. That'd be
nice. So then we're running up against our time here. You taking us out on the road? And what's next? We can combine that into one.
Yes. So working on, like, how do I say this in the good? So we're working on more shows. We have another one back here in Utah. Things just went really, really great. So we have one September 26th, the Prolon, Maine. Really excited about that one. JRC Events reached out to us and were like, hey, we'd like you guys to headline. We got some other bands on the bill. And so I'm really excited about that because this will be our first show with other bands, you know. I love collabing with other people. And then we are working on tours, and I'll just put it that way. Inside the U.S. and outside the U.S., we're working with some people that I really think could take us places. And so I'm excited to see what they do.
Awesome. Lastly, if fans want to find you guys, can you give us all your socials?
Yes. So allbrookstation.com and at Allbrook Station on all social media platforms, everything. Allbrook Station, ALL, and then Brook. It's all one word, but ALLBROOK, and then Station, STATION.